We'll see if this turns out just too crazy to use. Hey guys, let's do this.
Flying Solo with Brittany Ross.
Okay, let's do this. Hi guys. One day I'll learn how to start a solo episode in not an awkward way. I was talking to my friend who's about to have a baby, and she asked me about my birth stories because she's trying to gather information. And I realized I definitely went full out on both of my births. And I think it definitely has to do with my cheerleading, gymnastics, like suck it up attitude. But I had my water broke with both of my kids. Well, my water started leaking with my daughter. And then I woke my husband up in the middle of the night and was like, hey, my water's leaking. I'm leaving to go to Equinox right now to do the elliptical. And he was like, what? Okay. And I was like, it's fine. I just like want to try and get some like contractions going. Because they're like, my doula, I had a doula because I'm a blonde white girl named Brittany. What am I gonna do? Trust a hospital? No. So she was like, you could, if your water's leaking, to like get contractions going, she's like, you could either like bounce on a ball or go on a walk or something. And I was like, that's not gonna do anything to me. I was like, I need something more intense than that. So I went to Equinox and did the elliptical while my water was leaking, and I was like, I guess in labor. And then the second time I got an elliptical for our house because I like to run outside, but my back got all messed up. And I got an elliptical at the house because it's just too hard to go to Equinox. It's like a pain in the ass to go to Equinox, and they're just annoying and want to sell you everything. So I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm just going to buy an elliptical off of Facebook Marketplace and put it at my house. And so I bought an elliptical from this fire department. I like picked it up from the fire department. I was like super pregnant. And I was like, okay, I'm getting this. Brought it to the house, hid it somewhere. And I would do that in the mornings. And then my water broke, like fully broke at night with my son. And the next morning I like went to bed because I was like, nothing's happening. I went to bed and I woke up and I did my elliptical. I was like, I'm going to do the elliptical. And my husband was just like, okay, I guess this is what you do when you're as like part of your birth plan. And I went out, and this is like really gross. I don't even know if I should say this on here. So I went out to do the elliptical, and I'm out there, and it's like in the back of our yard, and my water had already like broke, like broke. And I was like, whoa, I had this weird thought. So I laid down at night to go to bed. Both times with my kids, this weird thing happened where I was like, I'm going to have them on this certain day. And I like did. And it's the only time my kids have ever listened to me since then. But I laid down to go to bed, and my son was, I think, 2 weeks early, and everyone was out of town. I was home alone for a week because my husband was finishing up school and he had to be at school out of town for a week. And my daughter, I was like, I'm so pregnant. I can't do anything with her. It's so hot. It was the middle of summer. So my mom picked her up and took her to Texas for a week. So I was alone in the house for a week right before I had my son. And there were like signs that I was probably going to have him early because I kept like feeling like kind of going into labor, and I was still doing shows, and I would be like, I think I'm actually having contractions right now. And I'd have to like sit at my show with like my head between my legs. I'm like, do you want to like go first or something? I was like, yeah, maybe that'll be good. I don't know. But I just like didn't want to stop. I was like, what am I going to go home and just have contractions? But they kept hooking me up to machines, and they're like, you're having like 40 contractions in like 15 minutes. And I was like, oh, interesting, cool. And then they'd like let me go. So we kind of knew that the baby was going to come early, but I literally went to lay down in bed, and I had this thought as I was laying down, and I was like, oh my God, what is he going to be like? And I was like, I had this weird like shudder thought, and then like instantly I felt my water break, and like luckily I like wasn't laying down in bed yet, so like did not get like in my bed, but it was like crazy, and I was home alone, and I was like, it was just kind of funny. And then I went to bed, and I woke up in the morning, and I was like, I'm gonna do the elliptical. I went out there, and I thought my water had broke. I was so huge with my son too, like huge. So I had a lot of water apparently. They thought he was going to be a giant baby, but
Wait, and you
I
were home alone during all of this?
I
Or
was home alone. I called my husband. I was like, my water broke. And he was in Santa Barbara and he was like, oh my gosh, I'm rushing home. It's so funny when your water breaks, everyone starts rushing, but like nothing is actually happening yet. So
got it.
it could be like a long time before anything happens. And I didn't want to like sit in the hospital and be trapped to like machines. So I'd rather just like stay home until you actually have to go. And then I called my mom because I really wanted Penelope to come back before I had the baby. And it was so late in Houston and we like rebooked all their flights so they could fly home the next morning. And then I went to bed and then I woke up and I did the elliptical and I was out there and I thought your water breaks and that's it. You're done. And I was almost done with the elliptical. This is so gross. I can't believe I'm going to say this on here. And I just started like gushing water again all over the elliptical outside the house. But I was like, I said I was going to do this for 45 minutes and I'd been doing it for 42 minutes. So I was like, I should just finish what I said I was going to do, even though I'm like gushing water all over myself. So I finished doing the elliptical. We might have to cut this out, but like my shoes were like soggy from like I had gushed so much water all over myself that like it's like as if I had run through puddles. I had like water in my shoes. And I was like, and Marco's just like inside knowing that I'm being like psycho and doing the elliptical after my water is broken and like packing his hospital bag, I guess. I don't know. So I like was done and I was like, I was like dripping in like fluid or something. So I like took all my clothes off outside in my backyard. And we have a lot of coyotes and like animals up here. So then I just took a towel and I like cleaned the whole elliptical down because I was like, I don't want to attract animals with my like amniotic fluid that I just like gushed all over the place. So then I like gathered everything up in a towel. I'm like 9 months pregnant and like naked, walked in the house holding all these like wet clothes. And I walked past Marco. I was like, hey, I'm just going to throw these in the wash and take a quick shower and then we can go to the hospital. And he just was like, okay, I'm not even going to ask what is going on right now because he's just like used to me being crazy. The first time I pushed Penelope out really fast, but I did get an epidural. So I didn't like do this without an epidural. I got an epidural. I was going to try and do it naturally and I was having a lot of back labor. And I really was like, if I have to get an epidural, I'll get one. I'm not against it. I just wanted to see what it felt like. And it felt bad. It felt really bad. So I was like, I'm going to get an epidural. I got it. And then I like brushed my teeth, washed my face, like did my whole like skincare routine and went to bed, woke up. My doctor was like, okay, I think you're ready to push. I'm just going to go do a C-section. I'll be right back. So I brushed my teeth, washed my face again, and then like pushed Penelope out like in really fast, like 19 minutes or something. And then my like blood pressure went up really high and I had to get on magnesium. This whole like medicine thing happened, but the actual like pushing her out was like kind of fun. I felt like I was doing a workout class or something. And I was like, oh, I feel like I'm just doing crunches. Like they were like, you really know how to do this. I'm like, yeah, because I like lived my life doing crunches and like stuff like this. It felt very...
So cheerleading prepares you for birth.
Yeah, cheerleading prepares you for birth. And then the second time I got to the hospital and I waited to get the epidural until I felt like I needed it. And I probably should have just not gotten it because by the time I like needed it, I was like, oh, wow, this is happening a lot faster. I feel like I could just push him out right now. But they're like, oh my gosh, we have to like give you your epidural right now. So they gave it to me. And then I was like so numb, I couldn't feel anything and I couldn't push him out. But my doctor had heard there was like this like gossip going around the hospital that I pushed my daughter out in 19 minutes because I had a different doctor the second time. And everybody was like, this is going to be fast. This girl's going to get this baby out fast. So I was like, okay. And my doctor really wanted to be there and I really liked her. So I was like, I want her to be here. So we like waited And she literally, like, I swear, you guys, she kicked the door open to my room. She showed up like a superhero. She like kicked the door open, had her hands out like this because I think she had already washed them, like, or something. I don't know. She kicked the door open and had her hands out for people to put gloves on her, and was like, "Okay, let's do this." And then I was so numb, and there was like so much pressure because everybody was talking about how fast it was gonna happen, and it took me like an hour. And I just remember Benjamin's birth being like, "I'm letting everybody down. Everybody's so disappointed in me. Like, this is taking forever." And I was like, "I'm so sorry, you guys. You thought you were gonna see something like amazing, and I'm just being average." And I just felt so in my head about his birth, and then. Yeah.
Your births were really full out.
Yeah, they were really full out. And I couldn't make the last one as full out as I wanted it to be. So sorry to everybody who was involved that it wasn't as amazing as you thought it was going to be. Like, my doctor brought her kids because her sister had just had a baby, like, in the same hospital the day before. So she brought her 3 kids who were with her husband. And they're like, "Come," like, just because it was like a Sunday or something. And she's like, "Just go visit your aunt. This is going to be really quick. I'm just going to be like in and out." And like, then I was like, oh no, her kids are waiting for her. And like, it was a lot of pressure. But anyways, they all end up coming out. Okay, let's
Shall we
some
do some
full-out
full-out stories?
Yeah. This is Molly Jackson, our producer, and she's amazing. She's going to read some full-out stories that people sent in to us.
Yes, I'm going to read these so that Brittany can focus on reacting to the full
Because she doesn't think I'm very good at reading.
I did ask if the print was too small for you at one point.
She goes, "Is the print too small for you?" And I was like, "How old do you actually think I am, Molly?" I've known Molly since she was 8 years old. Molly was in my acting class that I taught when she was 8 years old. And she showed up, she walked in with like her binder with her sides highlighted and her headshot stapled. And it was clear that like she had done it and not her mom. She was like ready and prepared. And now she's doing a great job producing this too.
Oh, thanks. No, I'm happy to be here. Happy to work with Brittany. Okay, so our first story is from Kelsey. Hello, jumping right in. I really like to get high and read. I know, kind of weird and maybe counterintuitive. I'm a big reader, like 2 books a week kind of reader. So I'll read anything pretty much. Last week, I was reading a book about bears, literally just a textbook.
She will read anything.
Anything, literally anything. Literally just a textbook sort of book about bears that might go extinct. I got high right before the panda bear chapter, and in my altered state, I got super fixated and went full out. I grabbed all my panda bear stuffies and sat in the middle of them while giggling and reading about panda bear statistics. My boyfriend was sitting at the desk playing video games, and I was interrupting him every 2 minutes with a new panda bear fact. Definitely full out.
Oh my gosh. Well, first off, this person sounds very young to me. The fact that they have enough time to read 2 books a week, any book that you want to read, and get high and have stuffies.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it while it lasts. That's amazing.
Yeah, sounds like a fun Tuesday night, whatever night it was.
Well, I'm not allowed to read, so according to Molly, not good at it.
Taking away the privilege. Okay, this next one's from Jackson. Hi, Full Out team. I got full out embarrassed this week. Not sure if that counts. I was meeting a new friend for dinner. I get to the restaurant, sit down, and they text me that they're going to be an hour late. What the fuck? Anyway, that's not the point.
An hour?
An hour late.
It's not the point. I feel like an hour. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so they're saying the point is that the waiter and them hit it off. We spent the hour talking about Mean Girls the musical and Amy Poehler and Renee Rapp. Anyway, a very engaging hour, probably better spent than had the new friend arrived. At the end of the meal, he brings me the bill and goes, "My treat." So I'm flattered and I leave a very nice cash tip. As I'm getting up to leave, he comes to the table, clocks the $20, the bill is probably $40, and goes, "Oh, I meant my treat as in it was my treat to serve you tonight." Again, what the fuck? So it looks like I was trying to dine and dash, just a perfect full out embarrassing night.
Wow. Wow. I think that I would have interpreted it as my treat. Like,
I think it's kind of the waiter's fault, right?
yeah, I think. Oh yeah, that I feel a little embarrassed for this person too. But yeah, I feel like that is kind of the waiter's fault. But wow.
Also, your friend being an hour late is crazy. A new friend. It doesn't sound like this friend ever showed up from the way they wrote the story.
Yeah. that I feel bad for this person. I feel bad for this person because I don't think the waiter really wanted to be your friend either. I think they were just being nice to you.
Well, sorry,
I hope
Jackson.
so. I don't know. That is embarrassing. I have secondhand embarrassment in hearing that story. I feel like that's something I would have done. Marco, so my husband is not from the US, he's from Switzerland. And when he first moved here, he thought when waitresses would write, sometimes they'll write like thanks or put a smiley face or something on it. He thought they were flirting with him, like this waitress. So one waitress wrote like thanks with a smiley face. And so he like went over and like gave her his number and she was like, what? And then his friend was like, no, she literally writes that on everybody's check. So
And that's the story of how you two met. No.
yeah, and that's how we met. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we have one more full out story for this week. This is from Chloe. So Chloe is a therapist for kids, which means a lot of playing. This week, I went full out by pretending to be a cat with a 6-year-old. We were kitty sisters, which equated to running around the house, partly meowing, partly talking, all while her parents were there. By the way, which was fairly embarrassing. However, she ended up recreating her own trauma within the kitty world, processing it through a story that she could separate herself from just enough. Play really is the language of children, even when you're a cat.
I mean, I wish I got paid to play cats with my kids. Like, nobody's paying me to play cats with my kids.
I know.
Yeah, I know. My husband's a therapist now, and sometimes Penelope's like trying to grapple with like what it is and stuff, and she's like, I think she like wants a therapist and stuff, and I'm like, maybe okay, sure. You can have I don't know, but they do just play with them, and I feel like I should be making a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, what therapists get paid like $2.50 an hour at least these days in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to play dress up the other day. Penelope asked me to play dress up, and I was like, okay, like I just don't want to play dress up, Like I was already dressed for the day, and I'm like, I don't want to, but like she just started this new school, and I feel like she's like having a bit of like separation anxiety, so I'm like trying to I'm like, okay, sure, let's play dress up. And I thought I was just gonna put on some of her like dress up stuff around my neck or whatever.
Okay.
She went in my closet. She had gotten out like a gown that I've worn to a wedding and a pair of heels for me. And she's like, okay, this is what you're wearing. And I was like, I don't want to put this on. But I did. And then I just sat in a room. I'm like, this is when I'm like, I feel like I wish I was a little more playful like when I was younger, because I was like, I don't want to be wearing this. I'm so mad that she's making me wear this. I don't want to be wearing this. And then I just got like mad about it. And I was like, I'm not fun anymore. Like I used to be fun. And then I was like, I don't want to wear high heels and a dress. I'm so uncomfortable. I have to like pick up a baby. Now I'm wearing like a ball gown. And then I just was like, oh, I'm losing my mind. And I was like, I have to take this off. I have to wear something else. And she's like, okay, like it just like didn't turn out well. She's probably gonna have to go to therapy and play with her therapist to recreate the play experience she had with her mom that caused her trauma. So I'm just gonna like drop a dress off, like a ball gown and some shoes off at like your friend or whoever this person is. What's her name?
Chloe.
Chloe, do you like dress up? Because I think I got you a new client. Okay.
Yes. Okay, that's it.
Thanks, guys. Send us your full out stories at thoughts@fulloutpod. We can't wait to hear them, how crazy you all are. Email us and follow me at I am Brittany Ross. Follow us at fulloutpod on all the things. And we'll see you next week. Bye. Bye. This is more committed. Bye. All right, here we go. Let's get into it.
Okay.
All right, ready? Okay. Hey, guys.